Hello guys and welcome back. Back to port with Spartan Elite in a live recording stage versus our residents. Now, before we kick in, I would like to thank our new patrons, richeesyboi, DemonVll, Myschick and Sevenrottendays that keep our dream going, ad-free and without interruptions. So, if you wanna join this form of support and enjoy special benefits, go to patreon.com/backtoport. Thank you guys once again and see you in next episodes.
Or at least from the past few months. I mean, just like, what are your opinions about the content that's been added? I'd probably say since October.
Well, honestly, I think the game has pretty much been deadlocked in the same sort of meta for a while, where fire spammers and torpedo boats rule the waves, and battleships get a backseat in terms of overall, I don't know, freedom to play, I guess would be the best way to describe it. But honestly, you can get around all that. It's just, for me personally, I'm a battleship main, so I'm slightly biased. Just throw that out there. But I prefer to play big guns, alright? And it's getting rough out there, man. It's getting real rough to be playing big guns when literally the entire game is filled with 8 to 10 destroyers and 3 fire starters, and then you're in a battleship. So, yeah, I've been through worse, but at the same time, it is a bit rough. And you know, it's part of growing as a game. You gotta adapt, change the way you play your ships. I like to be super aggressive in my battleships, so you gotta learn. You gotta learn when and what you can and can't do in your battleships, and adjust to it the best you can. Not every game's gonna be the best game ever, so you just gotta do better.
So on the topic of big guns, what's your thoughts on the current gameplay with Tier 7 and Legendary ship matchmaking?
Yeah. It's exactly what you think it is.
You want to start a fight?
Legendary tier is the worst tier to play right now, and I don't think anybody would argue against that. I mean, they are literally just, I mean, when you've got no diversity whatsoever, you've got battleships and battle cruisers versus destroyers that obliterate everything. Whether it be the guns of the gunboats or the torpedoes of the torpedo boats. Very rarely do you get torpedo boat captains playing anti-torpedo boats. They like to damage chase, and I mean that goes for battleships as well. But when you don't have any of the middle ground in the legendary tier to help combat the threat, the overall diversity is, okay, well, you can get in a Conqueror and HE spam. You can get in the Yami and overmatch. You can get in any of the destroyers and absolutely wreck house, whether it be Kleber, even though it got nerfed recently, whether it be the Shima, which is always overpowered as crap no matter what anybody says. The Kaba obviously is amazing. The gearing is also amazing. Like, there isn't a bad destroyer, and every single one of the things that are there that aren't a destroyer struggles to combat those destroyers. Even though we have 2 radar cruisers in there, the DPM of the radar cruisers just isn't enough to help combat those legendary destroyers. So I think legendary tier is in a pretty rough spot. And they really do need to introduce some DPM, whether I like it or not. Alright, let's be real. Do I want fire spamming monsters to come to legendary tier? Not really. I mean, we do have the Worcester, but let's be real, it's a Worcester. It's just not competitive in most people's hands. The Worcester just gets removed anytime somebody looks at it. So I think that's a big issue that I think the developers know exists and hopefully are working to combat in the near future. I know the Minotaur's coming. That'll help. And that's also going to bring the AP spam fun to everybody that nobody understands yet. But In the hands of a good player, the Minotaur is going to be absolutely amazing. In the hands of an average to bad player, it's going to be another Worcester. It's going to be just completely frustrating for anybody who doesn't know what they're doing. And so, yeah, we need some more. We need some more diversity in terms of the DPM guys in the legendary tier. Tier 7 overall, I know a lot of people say that playing tier 7s against legendaries is too crazy, or it's not as competitive as they'd like. But honestly, I don't have that much of a problem when I'm in tier 7s fighting legendary ships. Maybe I'm just running into bad legendary players, but more often than not, when I'm in a tier 7 up tiered against legendaries, I don't really struggle, with the exception of the DDs. The DDs obviously are just ridiculous. But Yami, you know it's going to overmatch you, so you've got to angle, you've got to lift the skirt, like I always try to say. Lift the skirt, show a little bit of that side armor, try to get the Yami to shoot at your belt. You know he's going to go through your bow, so give him some of the belt to shoot at. Angled properly, he's not going through the belt.
Mm-hmm.
So,
yeah, you touched on a lot of good points there. Mainly, the legendary cruiser being very non-existent in legendary.
You considered all that thing with the tier 7 DD, let's be honest.
Oh, Citadel what?
Worcester?
The Worcester.
Oh yeah.
Yes, you can.
I've done it.
Because at the current moment, we only have 3 legendary cruisers, and 2 of which are practically battleships in their own right. They don't have a fast rate of fire, and the only one that actually does have a fast rate of fire is just a legendary Atlanta, that being Rooster, as you mentioned before.
Miner's the interesting point. I am actually interested to know if Spartan's gone up against someone in a minor yet, because I know that the Ouija team have been playing it quite a bit. CDR Skunk and Kana when he was here, and also we've seen quite a lot of Robin in minor. It's been posted everywhere. I've personally come up against them 4 or 5 times. Spartan, have you faced a minor yet?
I have not faced a Mino yet, unfortunately. I would love to dev strike one and show everybody its weakness, but have yet to find one.
Yeah, the broadside's completely null and void. There's nothing.
Plus, it doesn't have the armor that the Edinburgh has, right? It doesn't have a 30mm bow, right?
Right.
Am I wrong?
No, sir.
Can't say.
So,
No idea.
Well, no, we can say because it's been released. I think. No,
we'll just say
pretty
that on PC, I don't believe it has a 30mm bow. Right. So it's going to be overmatched by every battleship in the game. So I don't think, in the hands of average and the below average players, they're not going to enjoy their time in the Minotaur. In the hands of a very good cruiser captain, it's going to be absolutely devastating. So,
yeah, it's going to be either overmatched or overpinned.
Well, I've come up, as I say, against quite a few of the Ouija employees, and let me tell you, that thing shifts DPM. It absolutely rinses everything. If you're in a destroyer within 9k of it, forget about turning around. There's no point. You're just going to lose. It's a very interesting thing to see. And what I'm absolutely going to hit, and I'm pretty confident that anyone who is either a DD main or a cruiser player, or potentially even a battleship player, maybe as well, Spartan, if you see 3 of them and they're focusing you, I don't know if you're going to last, Just my thoughts.
all I can say is if I can see them, I got a chance.
That's
all you can do, right? Like, if I can see you, I got a chance. There's always the puncher's chance. And whether or not it's going to work out in my favor or not is yet to be determined. But I'm sure, like I said, once it becomes an actual thing in the game where more and more people are playing it, the average players will stop playing it very quickly, just like the Worcester. The good players will find a way to make it work to their advantage. And the thing that scares me about it is when it's left alone to its own devices. Much like the Weimar, much like any of those DPM cruisers, Cleveland, Mainz, all of those cruisers, they're all very quickly sent back to port if the person that is shooting at them knows what they're doing and has a shot. Where they're the most dangerous is when the person that they're shooting at is fighting other people and they are just allowed to sit there and DPM the ever-living crap out of you.
Mm-hmm.
Or you can't see them.
Or you can't see them at all, which is another
Sitting
thing
on
that
an
does
island.
happen.
I mean,
All right. So this is news, I think, from today, either today or yesterday, but we just got news about cross-platform changes coming in 2022.
what's the date?
With the main thing being that they're working on adding in cross-platform player search, friending, and blocking by February or March of next year, hopefully. With that being said, are there like any possible collaborations you'd like to do with any PlayStation CCs?
Absolutely. Absolutely. We've said all along, T-Bull, Tactic, Hive, all the guys basically on PlayStation. Zarkoon, I think, also on
Chili.
PlayStation. Chili, yeah. Like all of the PlayStation guys, I would love to get together with them, as well as the people that watch my channel that are on PlayStation that I've never been able to get into one of the things that I do occasionally is do a community game night, basically, where we just jump in and we try to get as many people in. I play for like 3-4 hours at a time streaming, and I get as many people in as possible to try to play with people from the community. And so I would love to do that with the PlayStation guys. You know, they've never had a chance to play with me on anything, so I kind of would like to do that. But it's nice to finally have a target. Like Wargaming has said all along that's something that they're entertaining, they're working on, they're trying to get into the game, but we've never had an actual like target of when we can expect something. Now, obviously, the post that I saw was pretty vague with everything, and the only real target that I saw was the February and March for the crossplay stuff. And I know clans and stuff are even further out than that, let alone a training room or anything like that, which I think training rooms would be huge for the game. But yeah, I'm looking forward to crossplay, and I'm looking forward to divvying up with guys from PlayStation for sure.
Great. Yeah.
I actually commented on that when Prince dropped that information. And as we know, Wargaming doesn't really give roadmaps. They feel it's a bad thing to do because then they might disappoint people. The fact that they've given us this information tells us, well, they're actually breaking their own rule and they're giving us a roadmap. It's a good thing, I think, because a lot of people are frustrated and they want.
I agree. I think they had to say something. No, my point was literally, I think that Wargaming had to say something on the matter because they get continuous feedback. It is just deluged into their feedback routes that, you know, clan battles, training rooms, every day. They have to say something, you know?
Right. So here's the deal from just a outside perspective on the matter. First of all, would I love it? Absolutely. I want training rooms, I want clans. Even though I'm not the most like talented person in World of Warships, I still like competitiveness. So like that part of me wants to get in there. I want to be able to division up with the guys from PlayStation and stuff, you know, just have some good cross collaborations that are more than just swapping videos. But from Wargaming's point of view, I mean, it's a very small developer team, right? So everybody looks at Wargaming as the giant company. It's a gigantic company, right? Multi-billion-dollar company. But the thing is, the way they do their games is each game has its own small development team. And so a lot of people get misconceptions about how things should go right now. Because they think, oh, Wargaming is this multi-billion-dollar company. Why couldn't they have this done? Why is it taking so long? Well, the other thing that people forget about is COVID has kind of complicated everything. I mean, depending on where everybody's located, like from town to town can have different standards of health standards and whatnot. So like it's crazy. So you've got to balance trying to get all of the normal stuff done of your development. And then on top of that, you're being thrown a curveball where a lot of the time, especially last year, a lot of these guys were working from home and still maintaining, a content drop every month, every 5 weeks, major update. So I think that's something a lot of players forget about. Like, they just don't think about. And that's something that I try to, like, stress when I talk about it. Like, don't get me wrong. I have been plenty negative of the developers and the wargaming in general, and some of the things that have gone on over the past year, whether it be in Legends or on PC or wargaming as a whole. I've been plenty negative. But I also try to, like, let people know that you've got to temper your expectations. Because if you go in, and the Montana is a perfect example. Okay? The Montana dropped recently, right? The CC's got to take it out, and you got to see a whole wide range of the Montana being played. Most people enjoyed it. But I also heard other people saying, this is terrible, why is it? And I'm not going to mention any names, but I love the guy. And it's one of those things where you're like, dude, you knew what the Montana was. Like, it is literally an Iowa that has a little bit better armor, a bigger hit pole, and an extra turret. That's it. You've seen how the Iowa plays up against legendaries. What were you expecting to get out of it? It's not a magic bullet. It's the exact same shells. It's the exact same guns. You just get an extra gun and a little bit more armor. So I don't understand why everybody, like, there's so many people. I've seen so many people negative about the Montana, and I can't wait till I get it so that I can shut everybody up about it. But, because I'm really looking forward to it. It's going to take me about 2 months to unlock it, but once I get it, I'm gonna make sure that we get everybody on the right page there. Because, again, it's tempering the expectations. So many people are so passionate about the game, and I'm one of them. Trust me. We all know that I get super, super excited about things, and that can cause problems. So you got to temper your expectations a little bit, and try to remember that the team that we have with Legends has done a pretty great job overall. Have they had slip-ups? Absolutely. Are they doing things that you don't necessarily agree with? Absolutely. But at the end of the day, they're doing the best they can. They're human beings, so relax. They are going to get it to us. It just takes time. And here's the thing. You got to remember this as well. The sooner it gets here, the sooner you start complaining that something else isn't here. So just relax.
Mm-hmm.
It's coming.
Yeah, I feel the big thing that probably got people's expectations up with Yamato and Gross Kurfürst being the first two battleships to make an appearance as legendary ships, having access to 18-inch shells. Montana doesn't have that option. It's just stuck at 16, so it doesn't really have that wow factor of being able to overmatch pretty much any ship with its shells, because it's just stuck at 16.
Right, but I mean, in fairness, the Yami is the only one that can overmatch everything, with the exception of the GK. Like, the Yami is the only ship in the game currently capable of overmatching all of the Tier 7 battleships. And I know everybody will bring up, the German battleships, but no, the German battleships still have the same 32mm bows. They just have the icebreaker belt that goes all the way to the front. So you can still overmatch them, you just gotta aim higher. But that's just the Yami. The Georgia can't do it, the Gross Kurfürst can't do it, so not everything's gonna be a Yami. I mean, do we want Shikishima to come in with its gigantic guns that overmatches everything? Do we want, I don't know what everybody wants. Everybody wants that magic weapon that dev strikes everything that they shoot at, no matter what. And that's just not practical for the game, because if that happens, guess what? Everybody's in that exact ship. So I think a lot of people just need to calm down, enjoy it while it lasts, because the game ain't gonna stick around forever. I mean, we're already 3 years into the development cycle of the game, which is crazy to think about. Like, the game has already gone 3 years. It's 2019 to 2021, going on 2022. So,
most nowadays.
Time has flown by. And the one thing that I will say is, they've talked about the crossplay in particular, for the entire duration of this 3 years, basically. Like, this has been something that has been wanted for so long. And so crossplay divisions has never had a timeline. And now they just come out and tell us that they actually have a target time. Now, will that target change? Possibly. But they actually giving us a kind of an idea of when we can expect it. And that's a huge step up. So I personally am happy for that.
Yeah, I really appreciate their openness about telling us, everything that they had to go through to start working on just getting crossplay divisions set up, and letting us know that they want to do clans. Of course, they've mentioned that before, but it's going to be taking a lot more time. Just considering that this is a very small portion of what clans is going to be taking up. But at least they're being open, and I hope they continue to be more open like this in the future when it comes to content that players are asking about that they've already mentioned. Just little updates so we know that they're still working on it and just haven't thrown it on the back burner,
Right. Yeah, I think it gives you a little bit of appreciation for walking a mile in their shoes, so to say. Because you don't always see it, and sometimes it seems like the same day in and out on this side, but you don't always see the feet pedaling underneath.
Right, and I think a lot of people, again, they get to the point where they see wargaming as a whole, and they don't look at the fact that it's small studios on each one of their games. Wargaming as a whole hires smaller studios to do their work. And each game has a small development studio. And then on top of that, you've got those guys, that small development team, having to deal with all of the protocols that we are all dealing with and nobody enjoys. And they're having to work around that, and they're still banging out the content and stuff every single 5 weeks as best they can. So it's just something that a lot of people don't think about. Everybody wants everything now, and they don't think about what has to be done to get to that.
Okay, I'm gonna step up and say some things because your chat is very, very, but it is also juicy. And I'm gonna say the juicy part. Wargaming does everything because he wants to have profit. Okay? Do we agree on that? Yes. So, as TKN said earlier, and in many podcasts that we feature him, he said that clans, fleets, whatever you want to call it, name it, has no profit on wargaming. So that was the main reason that it was so back in the log. I mean, it was so back that it almost 3 years and never happened. So we're gonna say that they want the profit. If the profit is good and available for them, they do things. But now I'm gonna say, what now if this backfires on gaming? If they will not be able to make it happen, what the community will say? Will they drop the game? I think okay. So it is a win-win situation for them, and also I have to say it for my side, it is a good public relationship step from wargaming, because we all know how they work, and Spartan said that they are scattered around the world in small studios, that they have to connect with each other, and it makes them appear with no good public relationship on the fans, on the players, because titles that have multiplayers, they also have the crossplay from the default, from the beginning. It is unacceptable a multiplayer game that has no crossplay on. I mean, we are on 2021, and it is unacceptable for me not able to join my Xbox friends and vice versa. That was my little note here on the...
I'd love to touch on what you said there, Papa, in regards to profitability, because how can they say that clans would not be profitable? It offers inclusive partnerships with multiple different nationalities, and also it's an invitation for the game. It's an advertisement, more so than anything. Be more social in this circumstance.
PC is the problem. PC has given the results, basically. It's shown that it's not as profitable as it should be. If you look
Even
at
they
CODs,
said it's a different game.
Let's be honest. Who of all of you actually watched the final for CODs?
Me. Okay.
So it's 2. And I wonder how many other of the people actually listening as well actually looked or watched that last episode. And now this is the funny thing. If you go and look at how those guys play and how we play, it's completely different. Completely different. And the other day when Thatch and myself were playing, I saw this one DD reversing into the cap. I said, Thatch, look at that guy. He actually watches CODs. You notice them. But overall, we don't really play the same way. And if you go and look at the amount of people that watch that, there's the proof.
I think it's quite simple how Wargaming look at it. And I don't know what Spartan's thoughts are on this, but why would you venture into the unknown, or potentially slightly known, if PC is anything to go by? Why would you venture into the unknown when the simple fact is, release a new boat, someone buys boat? Simple as that. Thoughts, Spartan?
Honestly, I think it's pretty much right down that street there. It isn't so much that they're sticking to the known or unknown. It's more along the lines of, if you think about it, competitive clans, so on and so forth. What is the overall reach of such a game mode or thing? You're looking at probably the top 10% at most. At most, like the top 10% of players. Everybody else is, average or below average. The top 10% of the player base, which is already on console not that large of a player base, you got to look at it from a time standpoint. Is it worth it to Wargaming as a business to put in the effort necessary to make this happen for a player base that is literally only going, the 10% of the player base is the only ones that are really going to get anything out of it? So from that side of things, from a business standpoint, that's where I would see it. And that's why, like I said, we got to temper our expectations a little bit with everything. They've given us a time frame of when we can hopefully expect it. And I'll go even further and say that I believe wholeheartedly that not only will they meet their time frame, but I think that they might be on the early side of that time frame. And the reason for that is because knowing Wargaming and knowing how these companies do things, they're not going to tell you anything until they're extremely close to implementing. Okay? They're not going to be saying, okay, we're aiming for February or March, and knowing that they've got 3 or 4 months of development left. They're probably closer to, okay, we could probably release this at the beginning of the year, but we're going to give it February, March so that we can test it and do things like that. So that's why I'm pretty happy with getting a time frame for Wargaming.
Yeah, I mean, on the subject of clans just being, for the top 10% of players, the hardcore players, aren't those also the same players that are putting in all the money to Wargaming anyway?
Yes and
yes
no.
And no. Oh, nice. We both got it at the same time. So yes and no. Yes, each hardcore player that plays, the top 10% of players, probably spends more on average per game per year than the average player. However, numbers. Okay? So you're still saying 90% of the player base may spend less than the top 10% per player, but 90% still going to outspend 10% every time.
Even if they're just spending nickels and dimes, they'll still way outpace the smaller group.
I know of whales that can't still play the game, but they got every ship in the game.
And then there's the average collector, people that play a video game just to complete it, and they'll go and collect as many ships as they can, and some people don't have that competitive urge. I mean, granted, it's a war game. You tend to find a lot of competitive people in it, but not everybody and it might be a larger portion of the population than most people might readily suspect.
Patch, are you suggesting that people play this game for fun? I don't know about that.
What is this fun? I don't see the fun on the spreadsheet.
I just see salt.
Look, the way
Salt
I see it,
everywhere.
the way I see it with clans, wargaming should be very involved with the clan themselves. And they are actually, and if you did not know this, if you have a clan, Prince Blip will be in your clan. He's there, he answers questions, he gives us information. That's one of the reasons, especially if you're a big clan. So, like, for example, ours, we're 70 plus people. Statistics, some of them are crazy nuts. You all know Chili, he's a part of our clan, for example. So, when it comes to wargaming, they need to be participating with these guys. They need to be involved with them. In fact, I think what wargaming should tell them is, if you want to be a part of the clans, if you want to partake in COTS on Legends, you will partake in the community as well. Same as what a CC does. A clan must represent the company. That's my point of view.
Is
So
Papa
it would
back?
just be CCs, but
No, you're not CC. No,
as a
you're not a
group,
CC. You're not
but
a
it'd be
CC.
like, yeah, but I mean, you'd be putting yourself out there as a
Yes.
group, not an individual.
And no toxicity shit. You
Mhm.
know, you have to be professional. You have to be assisting people, trying to improve them. I mean, the other day I met a guy. He was shooting at the clouds at a DD, and he couldn't hit for nothing. So I sent him a message. Of course, Spartan, you know, sometimes you get angry and you send a person a message. But then I found out, he told me, "Sorry, dude, I'm brand new to the game." Well, you're playing tier 6, but okay, it's fine. So I sent him links. I told him he can play with me. I incorporated him into my life, even though I don't want to, but I'm going to learn him. I'm going to teach him. It happens. And that's the way that the clans should be done as well, is that they need to be involved with the community everywhere. And they need to prove it. And if there are toxicity between them with the community, you kick them. Sorry.
It's moderated heavily though.
It
Like
should be.
all facets of it, and especially when they said on the release there that you have the opportunity of blocking people, that immediately cuts it out, doesn't it?
Look,
No?
let's look at League. No, it's a completely different game. League of Legends. If you are playing League of Legends as a clan, and your 5 or 6 guys stand there on the stage, and one of them, and this is serious, one of them have got the wrong socks on, you get fined. Why can that not be with any other game when there's a specific, like clans, where it's competitive? Because you need to be professional. You need to show that your clan is professional and they are there for the community. You need to inspire people. What the hell are you there for other else? Just to win the money? No, it's for inspiration. To show that you're good, your skill, but also to improve the community. Show them what they need to do. Sorry.
I do have
me
a
blabbing.
slight problem with that, Rogue. I don't want to get rid of any of my unicorn socks, so
Okay,
don't-
sorry,
I
it's
don't
just me
think-
blabbing.
yeah.
On the top of clans and like doing like events and stuff like that, if wargaming doesn't do something about it, people are gonna make up their own things. Like right now, a server that I'm part of, they're running their own sort of competition bracket style, in which divisions of 3 players will go up against each other in different tiers of ships, trying to get the highest total XP. And whoever has the most XP out of those 2 teams will move into the next bracket. And there's no prize money involved. It's just a friendly competition just to see, where people place. So there's the competitive scene out there. It's just that they're not, grabbing onto it. And if wargaming won't do it, people just do it themselves.
I'm interested if
Oh, yeah,
Spartan
you
will
see it.
actually have his own clan, or will he join a clan?
Wait, what? I missed it. I heard my name for a split
I knew he was
second. Like
sleeping.
I'm not sleeping. I was listening, and then I zoned out for a split second, and then I heard my name. So I think it was if I was already in a clan or if I planned on joining a clan. Is that correct?
Will you have your own clan, or will you be actually joining someone?
Currently, I have joined up with the Alliance of Wallet Warriors, which is Peak and Aaron's clan, I believe. So, like I said, I've kind of already got into that, but at the same time, like, I am nowhere near the top of the like clans and stuff. Like, I'm a competitive player by nature. I know where I stand in the pecking order when it comes to competitiveness. All right, like, I get it. But at the same time, like, that's where it is. I don't have a drive to start my own clan. I had a Discord server for a little while, and it got out of hand. It got to the point where it was, like, ridiculous. And I was like, okay, I'm done with this. There ain't enough moderators in the world for me to control what's being said in and out of this chat. I'm done. I'm not a big fan of huge groups of people. I like to stick to a very small, like, tight group. Which is another reason that the Alliance of Wallet Warriors is a bit of a, a sticky situation for me in particular. And I've already discussed this with Peak himself, is that he wants to get the largest clan, right? His whole thing is, oh, we'll just bring in everybody. I was like, yeah, but everybody brings drama. And I don't really care for drama. Despite what has happened recently, I'm not a big fan of drama. So, like, for me, I like to keep it small, tight groups, and get together with people like me, Aaron, Peak, or the small group of guys that we actually hang out with, and that I have no problem with. So
just on the back of small tight groups, Spartan, bear with me, I am going somewhere with this. There is an interesting thing that you may or may not know. You probably do. Did you know that you have more subscribers than World of Warships Legends actually has?
Yes, I did know that, and I do keep tabs on that.
Just checking. That's all.
Yeah, I've mentioned that once or twice, as kind of a flex, but not really a flex, because at the same time, so one of the things I seen in the thing, I know it's coming, so I'm going to touch on it since I think we've been kind of off topic for a little bit. So I think I'm going to go ahead and segue us to the next section. Is one of the things that I've noticed is I've kind of saturated the market for World of Warships Legends. And I noticed this around 30,000 subscribers. Ever since I hit 30,000 subscribers, growing has been a lot tougher with World of Warships Legends alone. So recently I hit 35,000 subscribers, and I have almost entirely stopped growing. And it's not due to all of the recent drama that's gone on and stuff like that. It's just that the overall audience on YouTube for World of Warships Legends is basically just done. Like, I've pretty much taken all of the people that watch World of Warships Legends or care to watch World of Warships Legends at this point. So, and that's why you see, like, I've maintained a slight lead over World of Warships Legends, the actual channel, for quite a while now, because they're feeling the same thing. Like, they've pretty much reached the maximum that we're gonna get out of the audience on YouTube.